Okay, so last time I had the tractor actually running, I got out on the bottom end of the road here and I actually cleaned it up pretty good. You can see it actually did a pretty good job. There's a lot more work to do, but it was actually working pretty well. Then unfortunately I had the issue with the starter motor, and when I took the starter motor out, apparently the clip had come off the end and all the pieces of the Bendix came off and slid inside the bell housing.
All right, I got the steering box off. It's sitting on the linkages here. So now I can see right in there, and as you can see, there's not a lot in there. It's mostly empty space. And what happens is you take this thing out, and auxiliary transmission goes in its place if you want to have the auxiliary transmission in there. So now I should be able to get a flashlight, and I should be able to find all the little pieces, and I will show you those in a minute. Oh, and I didn't have to take the hood all the way off. Okay, I think this might be all the pieces. Appears to be a spring and some kind of a clip, and this, which seems to fit on the end of the spring. I'm not sure how this all exactly goes together, but I got it. Let's see, I got it with my magnet, fishing around in there, and looked with the flashlight, and I think I got all the pieces. I think that's it. So I'm going to go get the starter motor and see how all these things fit together and confirm that this is everything. Okay, I think what we have here is all of the pieces of this Bendix reassembled the way it's supposed to be. At least I think so. So the pieces that were inside the bell housing was this spring-like contraption, this washer-like contraption, and this clip that holds everything together. So in a car, or at least a modern car, you'd have a solenoid that would do this job, but on this old tractor, as this rotates, it drives this gear into engagement with the ring gear to start the tractor. Now I don't know if this will work now the way it is. Maybe I should put it back in and see if it'll work, but I'm afraid it's going to come apart on me again, although I imagine it was this clip here that failed and came apart, let everything come apart. It seems to be holding, so I don't know if it's worth trying it. I've got the new part on order anyway, so I probably won't do it. But it would be nice to get the tractor out of the driveway. Okay. I don't have my microphone connected, so I apologize if the wind picks up a little bit, but I have it all back together, so no more is there a big hole in the top of the transmission where the steering box was, and the solenoid, and it's back on the starter, and the starter is back on the tractor, and everything's bolted down, batteries back in. And I did have to take the oil filter can thing off the side, or I just had to take the bolts off, so this was loose, so I had some movement there to be able to fit that into the tractor. But it went okay, and it's got the new style Bendix on it now. I put the new style Bendix on, and this is the first attempt to actually turn it over. I'm not actually going to start it, although I guess I will turn the fuel on and try to start it. It's been sitting for a few days. It's pretty cold, so I'm not sure if it's going to start. But all I care is that it actually turns over. Let's see if it goes. Here we go. First test. Ready? And she's running. Well, that's a good thing. Tractor's running again. Starter motor is back, and it's got the new style Bendix on it, so in theory that's better. All right. Mission success there. I still have the intake tube to do, but this is kind of odd because it doesn't line up quite right. I'm gonna have to either bend the tube or trim the tube, or I don't know, do something. It kind of lines up there, but then it doesn't line up top anymore. Can't really see. And anyway, I already have installed the new stabilizer arm on this side. You see the red one over there. It's too bad they don't match, but that's the new one for this side is installed. So I've got everything back here done. The starter motor's done. The only other problem I have is that the jam nut that they sent me to replace the stock nut on the axle is not a 2-inch nut, and there was no indication on the website I can't remember the name of the website, that the nut that they sent was going to be a different size, and now I can't find anybody with a socket in town that fits the new nut. So for now, this is it, and it's going to stay the way it is, and it's tight, but not good. So yesterday's tractor, I think, was where I purchased it, but they had no idea when I called them what size their nut was. They couldn't even tell me over the phone, so I think I'm going to try to find someplace else to order my tractor parts. If anybody knows a good place to order tractor parts for old antique tractors like this, let me know in the comments. But not going to do this today. Just going to leave it alone because I don't have the tool to put it on. But I will do the air cleaner tube, and that's the next project. So I got somebody going into town who was going to try to get me a socket for that nut, but I don't think anybody has one. So instead, I'm just going to have him get me some rubber hose so that I can attach the pipe to the carburetor and to the air cleaner so that it will have this, I don't know quite why it's chrome, but we'll have a pipe for the air cleaner to connect to. Okay, so the air cleaner pipe is giving me a little bit of trouble when it's connected at the top here to the air cleaner and lined up properly there. This is how it lines up at the carburetor, so that is not going to work. I'm probably going to have to modify this pipe. I'm not sure. This was a pipe that was purchased specifically for this tractor, so I'm not sure why it lines up so poorly. But I'm probably going to have to cut it and make up this little bit of difference with some flexible hose, because there's just no way this is going to line up close enough to just get a little sleeve in there. So, and I don't think that, it's not even lined up on center with the carburetor, as you can see, so it's going to interfere with flow if I tried to make that work. I mean, there's no way to make that work, actually. I'm going to have to trim it no matter what. And it is lined up all the way at the top, so I think it's just made wrong. If I had the appropriate tools, I'd try to bend this pipe a little bit and try to make it line up, but I don't have anything to do that. So probably just end up trimming it and using a little flexible pipe in here. As you can see, I got it to line up a lot better now, as I have taken a big chunk out of one side of it with a grinder. So now when I line it up top, the bottom lines up much better, and now I have a little bit of hose I can put in between. Hopefully, might have to use a heat gun to get it to be flexible enough, and I'll get that to connect between the carburetor and the pipe. Okay, so got the tube installed. Took a little bit of modification to get it to work, and I got a little bit of rubber pipe at the bottom here with a clamp to connect it to the carburetor, and a little bit of white flexible tube at the top. I also made a little cap for the top here, which was missing this top, and a little hole in it for this to come through, and replace the screw. So the entire air filtration system is intact now on this thing. So I've got that done, and I also went ahead and put the jam nut on, but it's not on as tight as it needs to be. But it is on tighter than the nut that was on there before was on. So it's an overall gain. I have to get I think it's going to be a 48 millimeter socket, as I measured this to be. So to tighten that up, so I'll get the appropriate socket. I'll back this off and I'll tighten this down to its appropriate torque, and then I'll put the nut back on it. All right, I got you on the tractor with me here. We're just going around the driveway trying to smooth it out a little bit. And as you can see, we are moving some earth back here. This is my second time around. I think I'm not going to do any more. I'm just going around just to play with the tractor a little bit after I got it going. But it's coming out pretty good.